As of recently, there was a topic of discussion within World War II that a lot of people brought their attention to over on Reddit, Twitter, whatever social media you might subscribe to. This topic of discussion was something of much debate, much speculation, but I decided not to talk about it really all that much because we ended up seeing a few various different scenarios of double XP the last couple of weeks. We ended up having, once again, the Resistance having the featured playlists of double XP. Last weekend, the second week of the Resistance event, we didn't get a double XP specific playlist across the board, but we ended up getting the double XP for the DLC launch, and that was something that PlayStation 4 users, if you ended up going into either the Core, Hardcore, or Intercept 24/7 playlist for the new DLC, you ended up getting a double XP, double weapon XP, and of course the double division XP, in which that was what was going to be offered across the board for all players. So I wanted to take a little bit of time away from this and not discuss the air quote bugged XP rates as of recently, and more specifically in War, because it was something that I didn't necessarily know how much of it was actually a real issue, how much was either just perceived or may have just not been adding up properly. With double XP, it kind of skewed that data because when you take a look at what you get at its base, well, that's of course different whenever you have a multiplier of double XP. So you can't really do adequate comparisons of a before and after if that is something that is active. So I wanted to take a little bit of time off of that before we ended up evaluating this, and right now the problem still persists for many people. The conversation is still going, so thankfully we have that on our side in the sense that we didn't miss the mark here just yet. But I want to talk a little bit about this and what it might mean, why we might end up be seeing a little bit of a lack of XP, and how Sledgehammer actually responded to it. So first things first, let's talk a little bit about the current XP rate, because if you end up taking a look at what War was back a few weeks ago, you ended up being able to get anywhere from easily 10 to 15, maybe 20,000 XP a game, and that was something that was probably one of the main indicators as to why War is one of the best modes to rank up in. And I said that from day one, I stood by it since then, and while if it is working correctly, I still do, it's a curious thing because we might not see as much now going forward. But like I said though, XP in terms of what you'd end up getting was around 10 to 15,000 XP per round, and that's something that I can relate to. I know that a lot of people are talking about this sort of rate in a round, but I've had it happen many times where that is a very similar case, where you'd end up coming away with a lot of XP at the end of the games, but then whenever you take a look at that, I played just to check everything in terms of what I was getting, just to go into this with a little bit more knowledge on the numbers. I played probably about an hour to 2 hours of War today in which I just watched the XP grind out for each individual match. And that was something that not per round, I'd get relatively 10 to 15,000 XP consistently per game. So that's including both rounds of War, not just one in particular. So seemingly a little bit of a disconnect here with this, and though there is no double XP right now, that it might have once again influenced the numbers in one way, shape, or form, right now it seems like it's not necessarily in half, but not near as much as it was before. So that's the issue that's been brought up to speed with everybody in social media that you might have seen and you might have even encountered for yourselves, and that's where we stand right now. So while we may see it as players, does Sledgehammer know this is something that is out there? Is this something that they're actively looking into? Well, the nice part is that yes, they are looking into it, and they actually publicly acknowledge this on a couple of occasions, but essentially it boils down to various different posts on Reddit, coming down to the communication they've been having recently, a little transparency and openness with the community. While they're not necessarily posting updates for the game themselves, they are still cruising and lurking in the forums, seeing if there's anything that they can attend to, and having been tagged in many different posts like this talking about the XP rates, they ended up actually replying along the lines of, "Thanks for tagging us, we've been looking into this and we'll update you all when we have more info." Do you feel like you've seen it lower in any particular War map specifically, or is it something just overall? So in that sense, it might be something that is specifically on a various few occasions, but having experienced it for myself, I feel like it might just be something general, something overall. But that said, that is a nice confirmation that they do know about this, they are looking into it, and we should hopefully see a fix coming up in the near future for it. But that said, how did we get to here? What are the possible courses of action that could fix this? And is there anything that can indicate a time frame as to when a fix can be coming? Now, I can almost guarantee you that the general thought that players may have is that Sledgehammer is evil and they just want to take away from how much people are grinding out the game. I can tell you firsthand that that is not how this sort of thing works, though that might be the community reception and thought process at some points and times. That's not how things work. It's usually usually something that stems off of an update or a slight playlist update, something that messes with the way the game works in its very minute details, but it's something that slips through the cracks and therefore affects other parts of the game. So the big theory that I saw about this, and it really actually makes sense, I think, actually comes with just the XP rates getting glitched out in their own senses. Now, this may have stemmed back from whenever we ended up having the XP rates adjusted for prop hunts. If you guys remember, back within the first week of the Resistance event, we had prop hunt given to us. Again, it's live now, but it's not as much given in the sense of XP as we saw at the very beginning. And it was actually updated or patched, if you want to put it that way, within a few hours of it actually going live. But you ended up getting, depending on the size of what you were as a prop and the amount of time you stayed alive, the frequency in which you got XP drops was a lot faster than what it was currently and what it was changed to back then. It was only live like this for a few hours, but you could end up getting around 50,000 XP per game. And if you guys remember, prop hunt doesn't last all that long. It's not something like war in the sense where one half could be 10 minutes and another half could be another 10 minutes or even longer. That's something in which prop hunt was probably a one and done type of thing in the sense of maybe 5 to 6, 7 minutes if you have a decently length game. So that said, you could end up getting a ton of XP farming that, ranking up very fast, all while having a good time within prop hunts, a mode that a lot of people want to see as a stable mode within World War II. So the adjustment was made to end up toning that XP down, to which a playlist update was rolled out, and then we ended up getting the fix that we see now in terms of the XP rates that we have currently, but for the first time rolled out back then. This is where this theory comes into play, where this hotfix actually inadvertently messed with all of the rates in some different aspects, instead of just, say, prop hunt. So that said, if that is the case, if that's actually what happened, maybe some of this XP adjustments bled over into war, and then we ended up getting less XP than we normally would have, and that is something that we wouldn't really see all that much until a large majority of players were playing and testing it out for a couple of days, to which this is then when we started to see a lot of these different reports of people saying, well, was war XP nerfed, or is this something that I'm just crazy? So it was right around that time frame, and it might be due to that, but of course there is no real confirmation that says that was the patient zero of this entire outbreak for war XP being air quote nerfed. Now, is it possible? Yes. Can we say definitively? No, absolutely not. Another thing that it might be the medals being glitched. I saw a bunch of different reports on people saying they weren't getting as much XP for their individual medals. The one that I saw and was a good indicator was that of the unstoppable medals. Whenever you end up having 30 plus kills, that kill streak keep going on. Every single kill after that, if you guys did not know, is 1,000 XP per kill. So you end up getting a ton of XP, but personally, I haven't been on a 30 plus kill streak today whenever I first saw this report of the medals on that one in particular being glitched out. So take it with a grain of salt, but keep it in mind. They said that their unstoppable medals weren't giving them 1,000 XP, but instead 250 XP. So 25% of what you'd normally get, which of course can definitely take away from how much XP you end up getting on a normal basis. So whatever it may be though, it is something that Sledgehammer is aware of. They know that they are going to be looking for it and that the community wants a fix for this, and that we can end up hopefully seeing one coming soon. But as for when, well, there's not really an ETA at the very moment, unfortunately. There's not anything that was specifically said by Sledgehammer. They just know that they're going to investigate it, they're going to look for something and keep people updated at that. As for when we can maybe realistically see it, my guess would be as soon as possible, ideally, but if we were to take a look at the next scheduled playlist update, that is this coming Tuesday, whenever we end up jumping into week 4 of the Resistance event, so we might end up seeing it rolled out in there. That would once again give Sledgehammer a little bit of time to investigate it, try and deploy a fix, and then just roll it out like nothing was really ever changed in a scheduled update. But of course, we might end up seeing it come out earlier than that if a fix is found before that, to which we get a quick playlist update. It ends up changing the way that the XP works out, and of course, we go on from there. But it might be even later, so we don't have a real ETA once again, but keep an eye out just in case, because it's not going to be something that requires a massive title update. It's just going to be something that is a quick little playlist update that'll kick you out of a game, restart your game, and then you're all good to go from there. But all in all, the War XP has been something that a lot of people have been reporting as bugged. I've seen it, you might have seen it, a lot of the community certainly has seen it, and Sledgehammer is now aware of it. So that said, it is nice to see that the community is having a positive impact on the game in the sense that we can end up getting these things fixed as soon as possible, and hopefully we end up seeing it coming out with a fix soon. But that said, that's where we're gonna wrap it up. I wanted to let you guys know about this. If you guys might have noticed this for yourselves, you might have been curious. So it's not something that you're alone on. A lot of people are having the same experience here with this, but love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Have you guys been affected by this firsthand? I'm really curious about that actually, but hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys did, it make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II. Of course, if you guys are interested in anything regarding World War II, best tips, tricks, class setups, information, news, videos like that, we get you covered here up on the channel. So if you guys don't want to miss any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a thing. If you guys want to get connected with me outside of YouTube, I practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below if you guys want to toss a follow. And finally, once again, I've been trying to get a little more active over on Instagram, so if you guys want to follow me on that route too, feel free to. But that said, hopefully you guys are having a great day. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Mine is an espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.